We are doing the Numerology and Astrology for May 16th, 2022. Yes, we made it to the eclipse energy. Yes, there's a lot of things going on today behind the scenes that will continue to be unraveled and revealed over the next many weeks. So just be prepared for that. In my quote and blog for today, in the blog, I actually go more into the personal attributes of this particular eclipse rather than the global one. So hopefully you'll tune in to that particular video also. Let's do the numerology. If you add all those numbers together, you get the number 18. And if you add the 1 and the 8 together, you get the number 9. The number 9 is a number of completion. It is a number of resolution. It is the number of discernment, that we can't create change until we actually understand something well enough that we have the discernment to see the pattern and then be at choice to change the pattern. And with this, the discernment with this eclipse, with the numerology that we're in the number 9, and there's no accident why that's happening, we are trying to look for that sense of completion. But most people are still trying to do it outside themselves, when the only way to manifest great balance of true completion is when we accept all things inside ourselves. We look for the external world as some sort of validation that we are a good person, that our life is guided by some magical force or perfect karma. But when we know that regardless of what is happening, that this moment is happening in order for us to know that the external can never validate who we are, then we begin to really discover the uncharted territories within. Once we are at peace within, the external can throw the waves of change at us, but that does not shift our state of grace and inward knowing. Completion that is sustainable comes from inside, not outside. We cannot wait for others to recognize us. We have to realize what our heart knows is right, and that is the path, regardless of whether that journey is seen by others as valuable or not. We cannot recognize those that are operating at higher frequencies if we are vibrating at a lower frequency. We cannot understand patterns of consciousness that are beyond our current level of understanding. From denser places of awareness, other patterns will not make sense. That is why we must learn the lesson of allowing others to be who they are and not need for them to be validating to who we believe we are. Just as we cannot comprehend the vastness of the mind of God, nor can we fully understand the journey of another from our own particular vantage point. We can only recognize what we currently know and what we are beginning to see and understand. Life is full of many layers of required completions. Each one is a small step on the path to greater understanding. The lesson today is to not judge. Set things aside and allow for this moment to be enough. It is time to see that regardless of the convulsions the world is taking, that we are okay when we are at peace within. See this moment as a pause to allow the perspective that one is complete right now. There is nothing to do or say. There is nothing needed from each of us other than to be fully in the now. From that place, we can see more clearly the path ahead and can move with less anxiety and uncertainty. You are always protected. You are learning and stepping beyond the restrictions of a linear lifetime. You are more, and such moments are designed to help us see past the obvious. You already are what you are seeking. Let that thought rest inside your core. Let yourself remember that home is where you are right now. The astrology today. The eclipses happen for Americans in the dark of the night as we are sleeping, a perfect moment for the scorpionic energy to manifest the unraveling of our old reality in our dreams. This emotional deepening is going to require us to do this process all the way till October of 2023. So, realize that we have a long way yet to go. Best to take this moment slowly and recognize that integration is going to be the biggest problem. The emotional tensions that have been building up are seeking a release. The material goals, while important, are less important now as we discover how much we have allowed the physical world to define who we are and our level of success. That is never really as important as our ego demands. Emotional fulfillment is what will define us and allow us to fully embrace this human experience. Notice the level of attachments that are happening, then ask, if they are real. All unresolved issues are going to be magnified during this time. This is not to make us miserable, but to force us to see past our incessant demands for validation and into the deeper places where we have hidden something special. Then, as the morning dawns, fully in the early light, the moon will move into Sagittarius and broaden our perspective if we are willing to let go and trust the universal flow. Thanks, everyone.